Okay, so welcome back. So it's after the Spurs game. Me and Jamie went and watched it firsthand. We
Mm.
watched the. I'm devastated about it, but yeah, Tiz, you watched it on TV. Am I right saying that?
I did indeed, yes. I
Yeah.
watched it in a sports bar, so yes.
Lad.
So yeah, I imagine it wasn't any more fun for you to watch than it was for us, but we got to saw it first person rather than on the TV. But yeah, I guess we can go through what we saw. You probably saw it on more camera angles and stuff like that. My voice is a bit sore. I think yours is as well, Jumbo. But yeah, we'll go through it and like you say, we'll kind of go through. But yeah, original thoughts. Thoughts straight away. I mean, it's really disappointing, isn't it? To be in that position and then kind of being, what was it, 2-1 from 75 minutes,
yeah.
and then just kind of crumble like we've seen in previous times. So I think it's a really disappointing and kind of, it's sad that I know there was injuries, but I think it was still disappointing to see how quickly the heads went down and how quickly it seemed inevitable that the third goal was coming when it came to 2-2 as well. I don't know. Did you feel that same sort of thing, Tiz?
It always feels like that, though. Like, I think with all teams, if you draw it late back on, the other team always feels like back against the walls and the other team pushes them forward. So I think it's the same with every team. But with Southampton, a lot of the time, even when you're 2-1 up with 15 minutes to go in a game you're dominating, you still never feel confident, and that's the main concern from my point of view.
Yeah, and you know that Tottenham are going to be dangerous on the counter-attack, and I don't know the actual statistics, but the chances they had, they took well, and it's not like
they had 3 shots on target, but one of our goals was an own goal. One of their goals was an own goal, so only one didn't actually go in.
If they take their chances against Man City and win 2-0, then you know they're going to take their chances at home against us. So that was a danger we had to be prepared for when we went into the game. So I think it was more telling in the fact that it wasn't them in the final third because they're going to be dangerous. It was the fact that we needed to be dangerous when we took our chances, which, to be fair, we put 2 away. And also in transition to make sure, to be fair, we'll go through the points as we get there. We're in transition trying to stop those counter-attacks. It should have been cut out a lot more times before they did get into that final third, which I think for me was probably due to injuries and lack of fitness, game time, stuff like that. But yeah, we'll cover that as it goes through. Any other kind of final thoughts, and then we can kind of run through.
Not really. I just disappointed to be out of the cup because I love the FA Cup and I thought we could have really got to Wembley thinking that 15 minutes if we hold out we got Norwich, and then who knows, to the next round we could have pulled not an easy team but an easier team if we did then beat Norwich.
Do you think that changed Mourinho's tactic going into the game today, just because he could see who he had ahead? And
not necessarily, because he still fielded a very strong team.
No, but I mean more the fact that if he knows who he's playing in the next round and it's a more than capable team they are of winning, it allows Mourinho to be much closer to try and get silverware for Tottenham.
I suppose so, yeah.
I don't know. Do you think the same sort of lines, Tiz?
Well, I think the players have obviously motivated off the back of the result that they got. They don't have Steve Bergwijn for this fixture, but they themselves have just seen, if we get Norwich in the next round, we should be beating them, and then there's one more step to Wembley. And looking at the way Liverpool like to rest their players in this competition, the only team that they really have to beat maybe is Manchester City. Yes, if Liverpool against Chelsea might win that, but they had a real chance of winning the FA Cup. And with two, let's be honest, not the top teams in the Premier League in Southampton and Norwich in their way, that definitely would motivate them. And he's a good cup competition manager. He knows that's the only thing they're going to be able to win this season, and he would have drums that into them, and that's definitely a part to play in this result today.
Yeah. I was also a little bit disappointed to kind of see that we didn't take advantage of the fact that Tottenham weren't without their injuries as well. Like, I know it was with us as well, but I think definitely on the right hand side, I know we were kind of short staffed. Like Ward-Prowse was playing right back, but I think Buffon, I think, was quite disappointed in that role today. I don't know whether that picked up on you, but I mentioned it quite a few times to you, Jamie, the fact that just kind of given an overall of like performances, things like that. But as a standout performance for me, I think that stood out in the wrong reasons for Buffon. I know there was a chance creation, but when he came off the pitch, you may not have picked this up from the cameras, but he came off because he had to come off from the nearest point for the substitution. And he acknowledged the fans and then literally like smacked his hand because he wasn't happy with his performance. And I think you could see that it wasn't a great performance from him. I'm not slating the player because we know he has got potential there, but it's just you could see he wasn't happy himself, which is a good sign
Yeah.
because he recognised. I know. Do you think the same thing about Buffon today?
It's a shame. It's mainly his lackluster tackles he's putting in.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
what it was. Like counter-attacking football, he played very well. However, when he had to play a defensive role, that was terrible.
Yeah.
There, to be honest. Well, terrible was a bit far, but he
How many
could have done a lot
free
better.
kicks would you say he gave away? Like 4 or 5, maybe.
4 yeah.
And it's not like it was. He's gone in a bit too hard. It's because he's probably the other way around. He's not
No idea what he's
gone
doing.
straight into it. He's just flattened the guy straight onto the floor, and it's not really posed as a.
Speaking of flattening, Romeo should have got a yellow card so much
a
sooner.
lot earlier. Yeah,
He was
did you see he was
today.
he was kind of slamming around. I think it was about the 70th minute.
I could hear from the Tottenham reaction through the TV speakers when he did get into the book that Tottenham fans were very happy. But with Buffon, I just think he lost the ball in just ridiculous areas too often. That's what I picked up anyway. You picked up something more detrimental in your eyes, but for me, I just think he lost the ball too close to our box many times, or at least if we won the ball up the pitch, he allowed them to counter a lot of times, and that's where I was disappointed. He did win a couple free kicks, but like you said, he'll know more than anyone that he didn't have a fantastic game today.
And I think when Armstrong came in, I was instantly more confident. Not only because I know he's a good player and he's been doing well near the first team, but we saw it, didn't we? First thing he got on the ball, what did he do? Put that beautiful ball in the box, didn't he? That almost, it made Lloris commit. Like,
I'll tell you what, Hugo Lloris had a great game today.
He did have a good game. Yeah, it's good.
If they had any other keeper on goal, we would have scored at least 3 more.
Well, there was a Vestergaard chance. We'll cover these.
2 headers.
Yeah, there's 2 Vestergaard ones. There was a.
But it was stand-up performance from him.
Yeah, Lloris did well for them. He was a real difference. You can clearly see as well. He was prepared for the pressing style that was going to be ready for him. He was happy to put it not directly to a player, but getting it out just in case being closed down from Danny Ings. I think he's learnt from his mistake in that area. So you can see, and Mourinho making positive substitutions as well, that really changed the game. I think Mikey, as he's not here, but he'll be happy to say it, we lost a little bit of something as well when Shane Long came off. I think he came off at 2-2, and when your back's against the wall, you don't want to create any problems. You kind of want to have an outlet just there. I think although Che came on and was meant to be that target man.
It was meant to be Obafemi before, but Obafemi got ready to come on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then we scored it was 1-1, Obafemi ready to come on. Then Egan scored the 2-2, he sat back down. I guess Ralph just changed his mind and brought on Che Adams instead.
Yeah. Well, I think Shane Long did go down and he looked like he had a little niggle, so he did come off. But yeah, I think just Che Adams doesn't hold up that ball as well in the air. Like, he's good when the ball's to his either chest or his body, and he can put his body across. But when it's actually aerially, I don't think he's actually as strong as Shane Long, which if you had to put them up together, you wouldn't go for it. But yeah, having a look at them, I think you lose that bit in regard. So yeah, I think that changed the game a little bit. The fact that we did kind of change the way that we had our attacking approach there. As I said, I think Buffon, especially on the right hand side, I think you definitely saw it from the sidelines. Hasenhuttl was very disappointed with Buffon that he wasn't holding up his defensive duties, because Ward-Prowse was going to be tied up in that area. But I think probably the man of the match for me for Southampton was probably Jack Stevens.
Jack Stevens, on his 100th appearance.
Had a brilliant game. Don't know whether it came across on TV, but personally, he was absolutely everywhere. Like, he was in centre back and covering Ryan Bertrand when he was getting skinned. He moved over to right back when needed and still looked fairly comfortable in that position.
He's really good at carrying the ball in the forward position.
And really becoming a strong tackler of the ball as well, which is really important in that defence. I think Vestergaard did fairly decent.
I thought he had a very good game.
He was fairly decent when he came on. Did you see the same sort of impression on the TV?
For me, I really enjoyed Jan Bednarek's performance. I thought a couple of his challenges are absolutely phenomenal. Right, last-ditch challenges. And apart from Vestergaard's mistake, I feel like he had this solid game as well. Jack Stevens as well, like you said, on his 100th appearance. Feels like it'd be more by now. But I think our back line did well. I just think the 3 times that they did infiltrate our defence, we just got unlucky that they were clinical enough to put it away.
And yeah, I think it comes down to this in the fact that I think it was our lack of midfield that stopped them moving in transition rather than our actual defence. I think it was just because Buffon wasn't quite holding his defensive position. I just don't think Romeo in the right position to try and stop a counter attack. It seems like his only option is to smack them to the ground, which isn't the right way in that system. That's why Ward-Prowse has so many tackles. And with all these players strung around, you knew it was going to be difficult. But,
I just find it weird the fact that we lost 3-2 and we're all still complimenting our defensive performance. It really shows how weak we are midfield and how they can get through.
I think we just got punished by a very capable Spurs side who, counter-attacked and took their chances well.
Thanks for watching. This clip came from our latest podcast. If you want to listen to the full version, links to it are in the description. And finally, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe with the bell on to never miss an upload.